Welcome to the Say Hey podcast, a San Francisco Giants podcast for the casual fan. Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Say Hey Podcast. Give me a follow on Twitter at Say Hey Doug. Give Rob a follow also on Twitter at Say Hey Rob. On Apple Podcasts and Spotify, make sure you're subscribing and following. You'll get updated whenever there's a new episode. And make sure you're doing the same thing on YouTube. Rob, we're up to 8 subscribers on YouTube now.
Holy shit, who was the other one? I'm not going to lie, I did hop on board.
Well, then it was you, because remember we had 7 the other day.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
You were like, well, it's not me yet. And I'm like, well, we could have 8. Well, guess what? Robbie hopped on the YouTube train, and we're now at 8 subscribers.
Oh, shit, I thought you said 6 the other day. I'm sorry.
How are you doing today, bud?
Doing great. Mondays are Mondays, I know you went back to work. We all getting back in that flow of things now. Good weekend, though. Good sports weekend. I don't know if you caught the PGA Championship out there in San Francisco.
I did watch some of it, yeah.
Man, you know what? Great tournament, coming down the stretch. You had like 8 guys within like 2 shots of the lead. But I got to say, it really sucked not having the crowd in the background for those little 8-foot misses. I missed that so bad. I missed the groans of the crowd.
Who is the guy? Was it Justin Thomas that missed the putt? He just dropped a loud F-bomb.
Oh yeah, he was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!" And I'm like, "Oh, that's me right there."
People are freaking out. People are freaking out, and I'm sure that golfers were like, before going into tournaments the last couple months, like, "Hey, just be aware of what you're saying." But I mean, you gotta admit, how many times does the average golfer, like who's not getting paid to do anything, they're golfing and they miss a putt? Yeah, they're going to drop an F-bomb.
Oh, man, I do it 10 times around.
Yeah, well, that's low. I mean, I average about
on the greens. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was funny, but it was a good tournament because I was looking at when there was about 3 or 4 holes left, and I ended up switching over watching baseball, obviously. Yeah. So I didn't get to see the end, right. But there were like 7, 8 dudes, and I'm like, this could have like 5 or 6 dudes in a playoff. This is crazy.
Yeah, that was what Jim Nance was talking about. He was talking about how it would hash out if there were 6 guys in a playoff, and I'm just thinking, fucking hey, we could be here all night, man, doing this shit. But yeah, it was a great tournament. Although I was really pissed off that Steph Curry somehow snuck his way in there, and they wouldn't let me in there. I did have tickets, got refunded, but Steph Curry got in there. I mean,
it may be
close to the public.
It may have something to do with you being Robbie Lewis and him being Steph Curry.
Little, that's neither here or there. But yeah, great tournament, good stuff, good weekend.
Yeah, good stuff. Another quick thing before we get back in, just want to give a shout out to our Sacramento Kings, because Robbie and I are both Sacramento Kings fans, and they've been eliminated as expected, and 14 years and counting now, man. No playoffs. Kangs.
God, even our boy Larry Krueger, man, even took some shots at him today, and I couldn't agree more.
Don't say our boy, because I am blocked on Twitter from Larry Krueger, and I am proud of that because I cannot stand the man. Okay?
Oh, you're blocked and I'm not? I got some work to do. Shit.
Yeah. And you're the king of getting blocked on Twitter.
I know, and I don't even say anything. Really,
I'm not a Krueger fan, but
man, yeah.
Well, good. The Kings deserve everything they get coming for them.
Agreed, man.
I've seen everybody like, well, what should they do? Blah blah blah. Moving forward, I'm like, there's one human in that whole organization that's untouchable, and it's number 5. Everybody else expendable.
Which is De'Aaron Fox for you people who don't know anything or don't watch the Kings like smart people. Well,
let's talk about something that the people who listen to us regularly probably want to talk about. That's the San Francisco Giants.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let's get into the Dodgers series. Now, before this series started, I said in the last episode, if they win one game, success. And why do I feel like they won one game and it was a failure? It's because they had that game yesterday.
They had that game. Gabe Kapler made some questionable decisions, and we'll get to Game 3. But even we're going to talk about Game 1 here. Yeah, I mean that game they had opportunity in the first inning. I believe. Oh, I take it back. That was the Dodgers. So it's second, third, nobody out, didn't score. But they got an early lead. and that was a miracle. And Samardzija was kind of walking on thin ice there. Those first 3-4 innings, avoiding trouble. Then, man, did the shit ever hit the fan?
Well, you bring it up, and that's obviously that's the main person we're going to talk about in this game is Jeff Samardzija. Struggled mightily again. I have his box score. I have his line here. 4 innings. Yeah, 4 innings. 4 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, 5 of those earned, 90 pitches, 56 of them strikes. And this outing raised his ERA to a lovely 9.88. So not too far behind Madison Bumgarner, and I'll leave that at that. But
that is our boy.
We'll have a discussion about that another time.
Sure.
But yeah, following the game, Samardzija gets put on the IL, which generally happens after the pitchers struggle a couple games in a row, right? But
Indeed.
This one could be justified. Shoulder inflammation. Again, his velocity's been down, so maybe this has something to do with it. Who knows? Maybe he's not 100% healthy.
He was barely cracking 90 from what I was seeing.
Yeah. Quick question: Is he done? Is this the last time we've seen him in San Francisco?
Well, I put actually in my notes that his days are clearly numbered as a starter, and they might be numbered in general if he's got some serious issue.
Yeah,
because he's that dude has logged a lot of innings over the years, and he's been a horse. I'm not we called Matt Cain the horse, but because Matt Cain would throw 7 and give up 1 or maybe nothing most of the time.
Get a loss.
But Samardzija, that dude he just wears it. He'll go out there, give up 5-6 runs over the years, and he just stays out there. Like, I always felt like whenever he got the ball, it was a rest day for the bullpen. I think that's how Bruce Bochy looked at it too, these last few years. But yeah, I hope maybe, probably not in San Francisco, obviously, but somewhere, he can catch on maybe as a reliever and maybe get a little more out of him because, he's still out there. He's wearing on his sleeve, and he don't shy away from the criticism. So I really do hope the best for him. I really do. It's just not going to happen here.
Yeah, and I actually tweeted the other day. Is he more fit at this point in his career coming out of the pen? When healthy, at least last year, he's still throwing mid-90s. Mm-hmm. And when he's on, he's a pretty decent pitcher.
Right.
I just wonder if he could be a long guy somewhere out of the pen or, because if he goes in for 2 innings and that's all he's got to focus on. A lot of careers have been extended for guys that were starters originally and then ended up going to the pen. Yeah, I was never a fan of the signing anyways. I thought we were giving too much money because he came off that career year in Chicago/Oakland.
Yep.
But, that's baseball, and the Giants needed a starter at the time. And, fortunately for the Giants, he's off the books after this year. And
right.
I would say there's a 99.9% chance that he will not be back. So,
right. But you know what, though? On a positive, the one positive I had for that game was, Wilmer Flores took Danny Santana deep, so that was cool, I guess. Mm-hmm. But, man, did you put the hex on Corey Seager? My God. You put the hex on him, man. MVP
Did we ever find out? Did we ever find out, though? Like, was it his back? Is that confirmed? Because I never heard anything after that.
You know what? I'm not going to lie. Because they were saying it was his back. I had it on the subtitles because I was watching it on mute the other night, and then all I saw was the game just stopped, and Dave Roberts walks out there, and I'm like, what the hell's he doing? And then
it was weird.
He just walked the field holding his back, and I'm like, oh.
Well, they
go, Doug.
It was a ball hit up the middle, and like he took a couple steps, and then he just kind of came up. So they never confirmed that it was, but they were like, that looks like it could be his back again. So hey, he's a Dodger, but we don't wish injury on anybody outside of Houston. So
especially in a contract year. I totally missed that just now. Yeah, Houston, you're right.
But we may get to that at the end of this. But no, again, like you're saying, Seager's having a hell of a start to the season.
Yep.
Finally healthy, and then unfortunately, damn. So hopefully he can get back to the lineup soon and lose some more games with the Dodgers. So
right.
Stay healthy, but don't win. Yeah. Another game 1 fact real quick though. Giants had another error, and it was with Darren Ruff playing left field, and he kind of overran that ball, extended his glove backwards, and it missed.
Yep.
And Bellinger took second easy on that single. So
yeah, that's what happens when you platoon.
Chadwick Tromp 2 more hits that night. So
right, positive.
Okay, so final score in game 1, Dodgers 7, Giants 2. No bueno. Then game 2, mostly positives. The one negative, we'll cover everything. Johnny Cueto was really good in this game.
Killed it.
Yeah, got 5 2/3. Don't read into this. The 4 earned, 3 Ks, 3 walks, 93 pitches. He had really good stuff until the end. And obviously he had a no-hitter going into the 6th. A lot of people are killing Hunter Pence for that play. I know we've been killing him for a season, but a lot of people are killing him for that play. Here's the thing. The sun yesterday in game 3 was brutal, right, if you were watching. And in game 2, it was kind of when it was just going over.
It was
top
twilight.
of Dodger Stadium.
Dusk. That's what I meant. Dusk.
Yes. So, dude, here's the thing. Does it suck? Yes. Is it unfortunate? Yes. Did he feel bad? Yes, and he should. But
I felt bad for him.
He did not see the ball. You could tell right off the bat. He's just standing there dumbfounded.
He was scared shitless.
Probably shouldn't be playing the field anymore. Used to be a really good outfielder, but it's been a couple years since he's been able to be a plus outfielder. So, yeah, that was just unfortunate.
It was, especially watching it live. Yeah, like you were saying, as soon as the camera got to Pence, he looked like he had no idea what fucking day it was. Like that was, it was the worst you could ever see a major league outfielder look. But yeah. And everybody wrote him pretty hard on Twitter because that ended the no bid, and that was one of those. Okay, that's not an error technically, but of course that's an error. It was. In every facet of the game, that's an error right there. But
and who was that? Was that Kike at the bat? He ended up with a triple, right? Quote unquote a triple. I'm pretty sure it was Kike Hernandez, and then Turner obviously made him pay and ended up hitting a 3-run bomb.
Yeah. Prince Fielder would have got to third on that.
Oh man. Wow. I wonder how his neck's doing. Hopefully better. But anyways, yeah, the Dodgers finished with 2 hits in this game. One of them is Kike hitting the ball over Pence, who can't see the ball, and the other one is
the homer.
Turner hitting a 3-run bomb. That's it. So Johnny Cueto, it sucks because his line doesn't look that great, but man, he was fantastic that night.
Oh, he killed it.
Another positive though, in relief, Tony Watson, Tyler Rogers, and Trevor Gott in relief go 3 1/3 and give up nothing. They were, Gott gave up a walk in the 9th before he closed it out for the save.
That's what closers do.
Yeah, we talked about being effectively wild the other day,
right?
But yeah, the bullpen was really good in this game. Kind of picked up for Cueto, didn't let him, get screwed, I guess you could say. So Cueto was still able to get the win, which is good news. So
he deserved that at least.
Yeah. I'll let you talk about our leadoff hitter that we gave. Remember in our last episode, we said this guy needs to be hitting leadoff against righties and lefties. Talk about Austin Slater.
Austin Slater, not giving us too much credit, but we did say it didn't matter who the hell was on the mound. He's got to be out there. And I think we knew going into that game, Kershaw's out there. He's going to play. And, man, he made Gabe Kapler look pretty good right there. I mean, at this rate, he might need to start moving him down the order a little bit against lefties if he's going to be hitting with that kind of authority. but man, yeah, 2 bombs off the great Clayton Kershaw. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. And again, same thing. Don't matter who's pitching. Another home run against a Hall of Fame lefty. I mean, that's big time for him right now. And I don't want Yaz to overshadow Slater here, but we keep kind of waiting for Yaz to fall back a little bit, and he just hasn't yet. So
Dude, you're right. It's like when's this guy coming back down to earth? I mean, he was cut by the Orioles, so he's got to
right, yeah.
But no, he is consistent, and that's why like a week ago, I think both you and I were just like, we got to give Yaz his credit, man. He's earned it.
Somebody's got to.
He's a good ball player consistently.
Yeah, and then Donnie Barrels, 3 hits that night. Yeah, I think because I think Longoria had 2 hits that night too, and they were hitting 1 through 4. They were hitting 1 through 4. So I think the top of the lineup that night went like 9 for 19.
4.
That's incredible.
Yeah, 9 hits in the first 4 lineups.
That is incredible.
Yeah,
you better win that game, and then you got a guy out there throwing a no hitter.
Yeah, literally.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, just but the impressive thing with Slater that I noticed too, the first home run that, I mean, they were both the center, but the first one was on a 2-2 count, which, going against the guy of Kershaw, he's getting later in his career, but he's still really good.
He's still really good. Yeah.
He's still Clayton Kershaw. And to take it to dead center on a 2-2 count was impressive to me. And then the next at bat, it's like, I'm not waiting around. I'm waiting on a fastball. Boom, he got it first pitch and took it out again. So that doesn't mean that Slater's running into things right now. That means like the dude is prepared. And that's what you want out of a leadoff hitter.
Right. Always.
So, which it's funny because you said, put him down in the lineup, but because tonight they're batting him like 7th again. So they did yesterday too.
Well,
so
there you go. Well, this is
who knows?
Well, yeah, tonight they're facing a righty, so I don't know. I don't know how they're doing stuff, but also one more thing, Hunter Pence, despite letting the ball go over his head, that dude got a hit, and he upped that average to .063. So he doubled his hit total in that game. So let's give him props somewhere. That's all.
Hunter Pence, Buster Posey's friend.
Have
Hunter
a game.
Pence.
Have a game. Have a night.
Game 2, 5-4 Giants, which leads us into yesterday's series finale, Game 3. And you thought giving up a no-no on a hit that should have never happened was frustrating. I think yesterday, because they ended up winning that game Saturday, yesterday was more frustrating.
Yeah, Saturday's forgivable because they won.
Because Kevin Gausman, man, battled his ass off yesterday. Pitched really well.
The velocity. Whew.
Well, he hit 99.
I know.
What the hell? In the last inning. In the 7th inning, he's hitting 99, which I don't think he hit 99 up until that point, which is incredible. So he must have just been really loose, ready to go, So he was really good. So
80 pitches.
Yeah.
Gets pulled.
6 1/3, 3 hits, 1 earned, 6 Ks, no walks on those 80 pitches. Yeah. And let's just go into it. Gets pulled after 80 pitches, and then Kapler brings in Tyler Rogers, who pitched the day before. Mm-hmm. And remember, there's more guys available in the pen this year. Talk about Kapler going to Rogers there.
It was a little hindsight for me, to be honest, because I kind of spaced on the fact that Rogers threw 2 innings Saturday night because, Kapler, I don't think he's really done that with relievers yet, especially in close ball games where he'd leave him out there from more than an inning. But then, it had occurred to me, when he was giving Rogers that little extra rope there yesterday, I'm like, well, wait a second, this fool threw 2 innings last night.
20 pitches.
20 pitches. And, and you got guys down there and how hot AJ Pollock's been. I know it's right, righty. I get that. But man, like, you got to have some sort of plan B there because, if we're seeing that on TV, Kapler's got to see that too. And he's in the locker room, I'm sure they all talk before the game, and a guy in Rogers' situation right now, he's not going to say, hey, I'm tired from last night a little bit. I don't got it all the way right now, but I felt bad for him yesterday. I did, and you could see that Pollock bomb coming a mile away.
Well, I factor in 2 things, and I don't know if maybe I'm thinking too much into this, but one, he's a submariner, so the ball's rising, and against a team with plenty of power, that could be dangerous, especially a team that just saw him less than 24 hours prior.
Right.
So they kind of got a good feel for him. They know he's tired, and now that factors in my second thought. New rules this year, they got to face 3 dudes before they can get pulled, unless they get hurt. So it's like, yeah, he's probably a little gassed from the day before, and you have plenty of available arms in the pen that you could have used there in that situation. And so just another, and I said yesterday on Twitter, I like what Kapler's done with the lineups, mixing them up, trying to find the right feels. And I think it's paid off for the most part of the season.
It has.
But man, he needs some serious assistance, I guess you could say, managing the bullpen. And yeah, I don't know what else we can say about that. We're just, 2 guys sitting at home watching the game on the couch. But what can you do?
And to be fair, I guess, the Giants are one of those rare teams right now where they are a little thin on righties down to the pen compared to most teams. They are pretty lefty heavy right now. But I mean, Sean Anderson got in the game yesterday. You couldn't have brought him into face Pollock in that situation.
He gave up that bomb to
he did.
To Mookie.
Right.
But I mean, Berger was the one who got the runners on. So
right. But when Rogers was in there at the time, we didn't really know what Anderson was going to have, because he didn't come in until later. But to go right to Rogers there after him getting 2 innings on Saturday night, when Anderson was available, like, obviously you're not going to Gott there. He's the closer now.
Yeah,
that's been established. But I mean, and at that point in the game, you have a two run lead, I believe it was, or was it 1-0 or 2-0 at the time when Pollock went yard?
When Pollock went yard,
yeah,
it was. Why am I drawing to the space here? It was 2-0.
It was 2-0.
They got 2. The Giants got 2 in the 5th.
You need 1 out. You need 1 out, and so I don't know why you don't go to Anderson right there, who at least is fresh.
Yeah, so it was frustrating. And then you got to factor in, too, Giants had 2 hits yesterday. So
I was going to get to that.
Yeah, which is frustrating. And the thing is, too, is, and I'm a big, and don't get this twisted, but I really like Walker Buehler. I think he's a damn good young arm.
Your Cy Young pick, yeah?
My Cy Young pick. And he didn't even look that great yesterday. If you watch the game,
Hasn't
he was
struggling
with command. He had 4 walks, and I know he led off the game walking Yaz on 4 pitches.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, well, maybe we got bad Walker again. But he was able to settle down and get through 5 2/3. But then after that, the Dodger bullpen was really good.
Yep.
And so just a frustrating game for the Giants. I mean, again, 2 hits. We don't even need to go much further into it. So
yep, as Denny Green would say, we let him off the hook.
And they are who we thought they were.
They are who we thought they were.
So
we let him off the hook.
Dodgers take 2 or 3 from the Giants. Like we said the other day, it would have been great to just go win 1. And it feels like we're a little frustrated that they only won 1, because they probably should have had 2 or 3 there.
And something to look at when we get to this Astros preview is the Giants continue to struggle against righties, and
True.
they're gonna face 3 of them.
They're gonna see them. Yep, all
3 of them this week.
3 games.
So we'll see.
We had another trade.
Yeah, we did. That was weird.
Farhan and Scott Harris on the phones, man.
They stay on the phones. Nerds.
Yeah, which I love it though. I love it. And the cool thing about this trade is we didn't have to give anybody up. So the
Cash
Giants,
Considerations is a great player.
He really is. The Giants go get Luis Basabe. I think that's how you say it. Basabe.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how to pronounce it.
Basabe,
like wasabi.
Basabe, like wasabi, or
yeah,
whatever.
I can see it now. Giants
we'll
PR
hear
department.
it. We'll hear it correctly, and we'll say it correctly from there on out. Whenever he finally gets his chance up. But he was the number 11 prospect in the White Sox system. Now is the 18th in the Giants organization, which is great because, again, just shows how much depth they built over the last couple years. in the farm system. If you remember, too, Basabe was part of the Chris Sale trade back in 2016 that sent him to Boston from Chicago.
And he was only 16, right, when that happened? Like, he was a child.
That was, 4 years ago? And he's actually a little older than I thought.
He was signed when he was 16 by the Red Sox.
Yes, he's 23 now. So he was 19, though, when it happened.
Or the Red Sox, I'm sorry. Signed by the Red Sox when he was 16.
Right. So, not as bad as a trade as the White Sox giving up on Tatis Jr. at 16.
No.
Sorry, White Sox fans. But anyways, I did some research on this kid. He's been as high as AA. Looks like he's an outfielder who provides average to above average power, but they said he can build on that, obviously. He's got plus speed, a strong arm, and is good in the field. So potential to be a 5-tool guy.
Yeah, I was looking as well, because a guy who's 23 with all that minor league experience, because I didn't know right off the bat, so I had to look into it. Yeah, he's one of those dudes who defected and got signed, internationally.
Yeah.
And that dude's already been in the minor leagues for 7 years. 7 years. And 248, that's not, that doesn't blow my socks off or anything. But yeah, I read what you read pretty much. He's a plus defender, and they say he draws a lot of walks. He's
correct.
And isn't that the theme with the Giants now? And Farhan and Scott Harris, get on base. That's why Brandon Belt is still here and he's still playing, until further notice. But, it's hard to question these guys because they've been pretty spot on in these little small deals thus far. But, I try to hold back the excitement on this one just because he has been around a while, and 7 years in the minors is a long time. So we'll see where he fits into the Giants' plans, because they do need young outfielders
that can play defense.
Yes.
But the thing is, this is not a trade that you're like, oh man, this is our guy in the future. This is, I would say he's a wild card prospect. You're either going to strike rich or it's whatever because of what you gave up for him. You just gave up money, and it wasn't a ton. I didn't even hear the specific number. So
they never say.
But I read specifically, kind of along the lines you brought up. According to MLB.com, he works counts, draws walks, and makes a lot of hard contact. So his bat speed and the strength in his hands and wrists give him at least average power potential. That's a unique way of saying it.
They talked about his wrists?
Yes, and he has begun to unlock more of it by taking a more direct path to the ball and driving more balls in the air. So he's definitely a modern-day ball player that's working on that,
launch angle.
The launch angle, the trajectory of the ball getting up. So
I'm still learning about.
Potential 2020 player, they said. So we'll see.
Okay, well.
Potential 2020 player. Yeah, he can move. His grade on the base paths were good, so. Hey, play defense and move.
Right. I just when I was reading it, I just thought of Brad Pitt and Moneyball going, but he gets on base. Okay. Say it with me, guys, or I'm going to tell Pete to do it again.
So, we'll wrap that up. We don't need to go further into it, but hey, it's a whatever trade. Good for Farhan getting on the phone and just trying to get better, being aggressive. So
sure, why not?
He's done these two. I mean, I actually am interested in the Jordan Humphreys progression.
Yeah,
and I am here with Basabe too. But he's already made two, subtle trades. Like, what's he gonna do before the trade deadline at the end of the month? I wonder. So obviously depends on what the team's doing at the time.
I'm in on it. I'm sad to see cash considerations go, but we move on.
A lot of potential with cash considerations.
Yeah, but we go.
Okay. Let's move on to our last topic. The Giants are in Houston starting tonight for a 3-game series. And did you see the Astros over the weekend? Were they in the news for anything, or besides getting swept by our number 5 Oakland A's?
Well, yeah, spoiler, the A's are moving on up in the power rankings.
A's are good.
But yeah, man, like that, I expected some fireworks between those two teams this weekend, but it didn't quite go. I didn't think it was going to come from the Astros throwing at Ramon Laureano, and then Alex Cintron of God, that's a name from the past,
right?
From
high school.
I didn't even know he
for
was.
us.
I didn't know he was a bench coach or where the hell he is for the Astros, and he steps on the field. Wants to go in a hardcore match with Laureano, who looked like he was trying to kind of laugh it off a little bit, and then all of a sudden, camera cuts away. Then by the time they cut back, Laureano's right towards the dugout. It was awesome.
And the thing is, too, is it's funny because Cintron's the one instigating and barking, and
Sure, looked
Laureano's
like
kind of
it.
like whatever. And then when
Yeah.
Laureano heads to the dugout, I mean, everybody's seen this already, but then two players step right in front of him, and he's just like still run his mouth standing behind everybody. I thought that was hilarious.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Joe Kelly a couple weeks ago, and now Laureano. But like you mentioned, it's funny because I can only think of throwing stones in a glass house, or however the saying goes. It's like,
right, yeah.
Who are you, Houston, to have the audacity to I can understand one getting slipping away and getting someone, but twice the same guy in the same game,
3 for the series.
3 for the series. It doesn't even matter if it's the same pitcher or not. Who the hell do you think you are? What the heck? I don't know. It was hard.
I know the league's getting a little frustrated, thinking that they're protecting the Astros a little bit, but and that very well could be.
And it's been 24 hours. It's been over 24 hours. Still no suspensions handed down, unless they've gone down during our podcast here in the last half hour or so. But no suspensions yet on either side. So, obviously Laureano is going to get some games. My A's buddy, who I'm hoping we'll have on to preview either this A series coming up or the one in a couple weeks, thinks Laureano is going to get 8 to 10 games. I think he only gets 4 or 5, but who knows? Especially in this season, the season's unpredictable, the commissioner's unpredictable, and the discipline of the Houston Astros are unpredictable. So who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, Joe Kelly though, he got 8 games and he didn't even break social distancing, and Laureano broke social distancing. So
true.
I think our buddy Mr. Ferris might be right.
You may be onto something, but let's talk baseball. So the Astros are coming off getting swept in Oakland. Obviously, the A's are playing really good ball right now, and we've given the A's a lot of credit on this podcast. But you can tell, I don't know if it's just the combination of what happened in the off season, and they're 6-9 right now, which is a nice record to have.
Nice.
But they're better than that record. I mean, even after losing Cole in the offseason, Verlander in the first game of the season, right?
Right.
So they're still better than that. Still a good team. This is a team full of really good bats in the lineup. They still have Zach Greinke in the rotation. But you can see it yesterday, Jose Altuve, their little superstar, struck out and then slammed his bat. You can just tell these guys are frustrated. I don't know if it's the outside world, adding up and crumbling these guys, or they're just getting beat right now. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's really hard to really put your finger on what's really going on. The obvious thing we can say is, well, they're not fucking cheating anymore, and they're getting frustrated. But it's just, I don't know. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that a team with really, they were all top draft picks, because you got to remember the Astros were bad for a very long time.
Very long time.
And they stacked up all those early picks with Springer, Altuve, Bregman, Correa, Yuli Gurriel. I mean, even a guy like Kyle Tucker. Miles Straw, all these guys, these are homegrown, inside the organization dudes, and really they can't hit themselves out of a wet paper bag right now. And it's, it's bizarre. I mean, I don't care if they were cheating the last 5 years or whatever. This just doesn't make any sense. So, if you're the Giants, going in there, you got to assume they're gonna break out of this at some point, and you can't expect any favors from them, especially in their little yard there.
You just went on a list of names too, and it's Why can't I? Who won? Was it Alvarado? Was that his name? Who won Rookie of the Year last year too? The big lefty kid,
Alvarez, Jordan.
Alvarez. Yeah. I mean,
Jordan. He's not even in
and
there right
him.
now. He's not even in there right now.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like this team's loaded still. So
Yeah.
you have their probables for this series. Can you read them?
Sure. Tonight, Lance McCullers is going. It's another guy right there who's been very good the last couple of years, but struggling a little at the gates. You know, he's 1-1, but ERA is just south of Justin Samardzija at 9.22. So as bad as Samardzija has been, you know, McCullers is just a little better.
Can you believe McCullers is only 26 too? Doesn't it feel like he's been there forever?
Well, they called him up early, man. And
I know.
They got some good innings out of him. You know, some small postseason innings out of him a couple years ago when they were lacking on the pitching.
Well, they brought him out of the pen too then, didn't they? But yeah, it just feels like it's been. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry, game two.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna expect a little better out of him, just considering, you know, all the talent he has and all the talent we've seen from him, and it's another tough righty the Giants got to deal with. And then tomorrow, a guy that I will admit I haven't seen pitch, Brandon Belak. I don't know if that's like Slavic or something, but he is 2-0, ERA 0.87, only thrown 10 innings, 5 innings I believe in both starts, but somehow they're hitting for him a little bit because he's got 2 wins.
Yeah,
and like I said, don't know too much about him. I know he's another righty who's throwing well, so
6 walks though in actually it says he's been in 3 games, 1 start. So I wonder if he had a long relief, you know.
Could be.
But he does have 6 walks though, so maybe he's a little wild. But yeah, I don't know anything about him.
Don't know anything about him. Speaking of not knowing, we don't know who the hell's pitching for the Giants on Wednesday. It could be Andrew Suarez, or I'm gonna throw out Trevor Cahill. I don't know.
Yeah, I wanted to talk because we talked before the podcast about who we thought, because the only thing we know is Logan Webb's going tonight, which again I'm excited to see him throw again. He's been
Tyler
throwing really
Anderson
well.
Tomorrow, most likely.
Probably, who threw well in Colorado on Thursday, and then So you were thinking who Wednesday?
I was thinking it's either Suarez or Trevor Cahill.
Yeah, because Cahill just got added to the taxi squad, right?
Right. They're saying he's feeling good, ready to go, and I mean, talk about a guy who's been around a long time. So
Just give us 5 innings. Dude.
I mean, if he's saying he's good and ready to go, I can't see Farhan or Kapler questioning him. You know, I feel like if he was feeling like shit, he wouldn't go out there at this point in his career. So let's just hope for the best. If he does get the ball on Wednesday,
I would rather, for entertainment purposes, I would rather see Cahill than Suarez, because I don't know, Suarez has had a handful of starts for the Giants and appearances even out of the pen, and I'm over him. So I would like to see maybe Trevor Cahill come and have a little renaissance, and because that is Samardzija's spot on Wednesday. So obviously we'll have a decision to make. So maybe it'll be Sean Anderson, dude. Like I said last week, who could make a spot start.
Calling that shot again, huh?
No, I'm not. I would, if I had if I had to think, I would think they'll lean towards Suarez, but I would like to see Cahill Wednesday.
Me too. But anyway, the guy going for the Astros, we know him. That's going to be Zach Greinke. He currently has no wins, no losses, but an ERA of flat 3. So he's
been good.
He's throwing the ball the way Zach Greinke always has, and I think he's like 82 and like 1 against the Giants in his career. So
he's got great numbers. I should have had those ready.
Right. Yeah, me too. I expect him to throw great once again. Like, I don't think, Greinke might be the one guy who is not affected at all by what the hell's going on in Houston, because he's a goofy guy. I don't think he has emotions. So he might feel like this is just another season for him. Like, he probably doesn't know there's only 60 games.
It's funny you bring that up, because I watched him. He had to start Friday in Oakland, and after every time he would pitch, he would go sit out of the dugout into the stands, which players can do this year.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it as dude's just, trying to be on his own and focus on exceeding because he's allotted that privacy this year. And B, I'm thinking maybe he doesn't want to be around his teammates. I don't know. Because, it's interesting.
Greinke's always been a little different, and it's well documented if you ever want to dig into that. But really, yeah, I don't think what's going on with the Astros right now is affecting him whatsoever, and I expect him to probably kick ass again on Wednesday. So whoever the hell pitched for the Giants needs to bring it.
Yeah. So, let's get into it real quick. 3 games. How many do the Giants win in Houston?
Well, I put here in my little notes that if the Astros don't win at least 2 out of 3, we can pretty much confirm them as frauds.
That's great.
Considering how little the Giants have done anything against righties this year, and they're throwing 3 righties and 2 very good ones, in my opinion. Like I said, I don't know much about Brandon Bielak, but I know McCullers is good. He's not throwing well, and I know for a fact, Greinke owns the Giants no matter who the hell is playing for him. So I'm gonna say the Giants find a way to win tonight. I don't know. Also show we have nothing to do with gambling or anything. However, in
1-800 gambler if
yes.
You have some gambling issues.
Right. So sometimes that line's busy though. But anyways, typically you tend to stay away from teams who are just getting home after a long road trip with no days off, and I believe the Astros have been gone for about a week, and they're coming back home, no days off. They're getting right back at it. So I really believe if the Giants are going to get one, it's got to be tonight. Tonight sets the tone, so you can't miss it.
Yeah, Giants are this is their 8th game in 8 days. I mean, so it's and of this road trip. So yep. I know they flew into Houston last night, so they've been there since last night. But
okay.
With what just happened in LA and what just happened in Oakland, this has no expert freaking prediction or whatever. I think the Giants find a way to win tonight with Webb, and they find a way to win tomorrow as well.
God.
I like Tyler Anderson. If it is him going again, and then Greinke will close him out Wednesday. So I'm gonna predict the Giants win 2 or 3, and if they do,
okay.
Solid road trip, man. Because they would win 1 and 2, so they'd be 4 and 6 against 3 really tough teams. I'll take that.
Well, I said the other day, don't get swept before we got done with that Dodger preview. They did not get swept, so boom. That was a win. So if they don't get swept here, that's another win in my opinion.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. All right. We're going to wrap it up. Again, thanks for listening. Make sure you continue to interact. We've been actually having a decent amount of people interact with it. You always have. But, I've been really enjoying interacting with more and more new Giants fans / followers to us and the podcast. So please keep doing down there. If you have anything that you want us to talk about here on the podcast, mention it. And we'd love to discuss it. So, again, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Say Hey Podcast. Follow at Say Hey Doug and at Say Hey Rob on Twitter. And make sure you subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And for Rob, this is Doug. Go Giants.
Go Giants. Don't get swept.